Hey guys, welcome to my video, and today I'm going to be talking about my journey and how I fell in love with music and my instruments. So here I have my first guitar, and my first ever instrument that I've learned. It's a chord guitar, and my dad originally bought this for my sister, and she didn't really use that much, so once I got an interest in music, I started using it a lot, way more than her. And as you can see, there's a lot of worn out features, and some of the texts are fading away, but it's okay. I still value it as much as how I valued it when I first got interested in music. So I've used this a lot during our lessons with Chris and Marvin, and they were really the ones that pushed me into learning music, and I really appreciate them for that. They taught me a lot with guitar and how I would use this talent to praise and worship God. And back in around 2016 or 2015, Steve Cuban, he is a famous worship leader here. He went here to do a concert, and I was lucky enough to have my guitar signed by him. And even though I was still young back then, I was motivated and I was inspired by him to learn and play music. So I've used this a lot during our church praise and worship and in small church gatherings. So even if I get better guitars in the future, I don't think I would be able to replace this because it's still precious to me, and this is where all of my music journey started. So I will play a few songs for you guys so you can hear how it sounds like. Second instrument that I've ever learned. It's a 4-string bass guitar, and once again, my dad originally bought this for my sister, but I was really the one who learned it and who actually used it. So it's a J tercer, and it's a precision style bass, and for its price, it's actually really good. Its tone is really decent, and I've used this a lot of times during church praise and worship, and a lot of people actually complimented the tone of the bass. So, since I've used it way too much during praise and worship, a lot of the parts have actually started rusting. So the pickups started rusting, and even the knobs are starting to rust too. But overall, the tone is still really good, and I still use it up to this day. So I'm gonna play a few beats for you guys, so you can hear what it sounds like. So on to my third instrument, which is the electric guitar. Here it is. So there's a really funny story of how I got this. We actually went to the guitar store just to buy some picks, and turns out there was a clearance sale in the same guitar store. So this guitar was part of the clearance sale. It was in a kit, and it had an amplifier, it had a tuner, and it had a gig bag with it. So my parents quickly grabbed one of these guitars and an amplifier that goes for my bass. So the tone on this guitar is really good. It's an Area Pro 2, and it retains its tuning really well. So I also use these effects, which is Zoom G1 X On, which for its price is really good. There's a lot of amps in it, there's a lot of effects, there's a lot of reverbs in it, which is something that I really like. So I use this every week for church, and I've used it ever since I've got it for church. So I'll play a few notes for you guys so you can hear what it sounds like. So this is my fourth instrument, which is an ukulele, and it's by Epiphone. And my aunt and uncle actually bought this for me for my birthday. It's my 14th birthday, and to me it was kind of funny how this was the most expensive instrument that I've owned before. And I've used it once or twice during live praise and worship, but until now it's still pretty fun to use. So here's how it sounds like. So onto my fifth instrument, and see, this is where beauty meets an instrument. So I remember asking my parents for a 5-string bass, especially this one, which is a Marcus Miller V7, and I asked them for a 5-string bass when I was around 14 or 15. After I fell in love with the bass, and after a few months to a year, I finally got it, and this is the real deal. And so the difference between the 5-string and my 4-string is that the pickups here are jazz style, and the pickups on the 4-string are precision cell based pickups. And this one can switch between passive and active, and of course this one has an extra string, so there's a wider range of notes you can play. And the only problem I've had with this is that since it's 5 strings, so it's harder to mute the strings when you're playing. So when I'm usually playing, there's gonna be sometimes string ringing sometimes. So I asked my parents to buy me this fret wrap so it will cancel some ringing strings when I don't need it to ring. And I haven't had any problems with this. The tones on this are really broad and very very precise on what I need. So here, I'll play some beats for you guys so you can hear what it sounds like. So I'm playing in active mode. So the next instrument is the Yamaha keyboard, and this is the first instrument that my dad ever bought. And my sister was actually the one who actually learned this instrument. And so I asked her to teach me how to play the keyboard. She taught me the basics for around an hour, and somewhat I've been able to play the keyboard. And ever since then, I've been practicing how to play the keyboard, and I've been able to play keyboard in church, praise and worship. I don't really use the keyboard for any other effects and sounds other than the keyboard voice itself. So I'm gonna play a song for you guys so you'll know what it sounds like. Okay, so my next instrument is the drums. So I asked my dad for the drums when I was really small. I really wanted to be a drummer, and for 6 years now, for some reason, I still haven't been able to learn how to play the drums. I've been more attracted to playing the strings more than the percussion, so soon I'll push myself to learn, and who knows, I might even consider myself to be a drummer more than I am a guitarist. Okay, so moving on to my last instrument, which is the Kalimba. My sister gave this to me for my Christmas present and also my birthday present. And I could say this is the most relaxing instrument I've ever owned. I've only learned to play a couple of songs on this because it's actually kind of confusing how the keys are alternating between the left and right sides. So here's how it sounds like. So in the future, I'll be uploading video tutorials on how to play praise and worship songs, and maybe a couple of videos on the basics of the strings. So you can tune in on my website to learn more about that.